And as Robert just reported, today a new witness is expected to testify before the grand jury.
Joining us right now with more on the case, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Arthur Aidala. Nice to have you back.
Hi, how are you? This is anything but normal.
Yeah, so let me ask you, the guy that's going to testify today is Donald Trump's attorney who represented Michael Cohen at one point. No longer does, obviously. Is he going to spill the beans on Michael Cohen?
Yeah, I don't think he's officially Donald Trump's attorney, but he's testifying on behalf of Donald Trump. But he was Michael Cohen's attorney back in the day, and I'm guesstimating, but it's kind of an educated guess, that one of the things he's going to go in there and do, he's going to talk about all the different ways that Michael Cohen has been lying throughout the years, lie after lie after lie. He's also going to say, I believe, that the falsification, that the payoff money had nothing to do with the election, saving the election or saving his candidacy. It had to do with not hurting Melania. That Donald Trump did not want his wife to know that someone was accusing him of having an extramarital affair. And if they can't make that connection, that it had something to do with the election, then this is just filing a false instrument. It's an A misdemeanor. It's a very petty crime.
Well, now, at one point, it looked like Manhattan DA Bragg disbanded the Trump investigation, and now I guess because he got a lot of pushback, he's reawakened it again.
Rossana, you're 100% correct. Basically, here's the timeline. When Michael Cohen pleads guilty in 2018 to the feds don't go after Donald Trump. He basically told a federal judge, he told what he'd done. The feds don't open an investigation, they let it alone. Cy Vance puts together, he's the Manhattan DA before Alvin Bragg. He puts together a team and they look at this and they don't do anything. Cy Vance leaves office without any indictment. Yeah. Then Bragg comes in, as you said, Rossana, disbands the whole thing, and now it comes back to life. I don't know why. It's not like crime in Manhattan is so under control well, that they're bored and they have nothing to do with it.
This is what Pence is saying, the former vice president. He's like, this is crazy.
The other thing is this. If you're going to take these drastic steps to be the first DA to indict the first president of the United States, there better be some there. Filing a document regarding $130,000 payment back to you, repaying your lawyer. I mean, this should be the biggest case that we bring down a president?
So you're saying this is not a slam dunk, and what they're doing right now can also be a weaponization of the criminal justice system towards Democrats maybe in the future?
It's not the way the system should be used. And listen, I want to make it clear, like, I'm no big pro-Trump guy here. I'm just a New Yorker. I'm involved heavily in the criminal justice system, and this is not the kind of case that you should be bringing down a president. Not only is he a past president, but he's a candidate right now for the presidency. And you know, Alvin Bragg, I'm not going to say anything bad about him personally, but he is such a rookie at this job. I mean, he is such a rookie. He was never a district attorney. Yeah. He was a federal prosecutor. He was an attorney general, but he was never a DA. And to be the Manhattan DA, to follow in the footsteps of Frank Hogan, Bob Morgenthau, Cy Vance, before you start bringing down an indictment on the president of the United States, you better have an awesome case. And it does not seem that way.
You're just saying because it's not a slam dunk to prove it's a felony. Let me ask you a question, though, because Trump was offered a chance to testify but declined. Why was that the smart move to make on his end?
Because when you're in a grand jury, it is the hardest thing to do for an attorney. He's the target of the grand jury, so he is allowed to go in there with his lawyer, but his lawyer's not allowed to say a word. Yeah. So he would have to go in there with either Susan Neckles or Joe Tacopina, and they can't say anything except, I'd like to speak to my client, and take him outside. So it is a very, very frustrating endeavor. And typically, when a prosecutor wants to get an indictment, they get an indictment. So typically, you don't put your client in there. But I'll just tell you guys, from a very logistical point of view, for those of us who work in this courthouse, we're all freaking out about what's going to happen. Because, look, you guys know, I did the Harvey Weinstein case down there. I was involved with DSK. I mean, I was there the day of DSK. If they arrest Donald Trump, and then, look, they're not going to go knock down his door and put handcuffs on him. But if he has to surrender and go appear before a court in 100 Center Street, the media, it'll be insane on a level we've never even seen before.
But why? He's not going to do a perp walk.
He's not, well, he's got to get into the building. Yes, he won't do a perp walk where he's going to be in handcuffs, but he's got to go into the building. He's got to go into somewhere in the DA's office. He's got to be fingerprinted. There'll be a mug shot of him. He's got to stand in front of a Supreme Court judge, plead not guilty to an indictment, and then walk out. I mean, you know, the poor court officers. I mean, we have the greatest court officers, but what a undertaking it is for that. And then, you know, there are crazy people out there who
of course there are crazy
very
people.
supportive of President
But what
Trump.
does this say about what we do in our political system? I mean, everybody is talking about this. We're almost becoming a third world country. If we don't like our political opponent, we find some stupid little charge to try to get him out of the race.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the feds do it. You know, if you go all the way back to Bill Clinton when they went after him with Whitewater, and then, you know, obviously with Russian collusion with Trump and everything in between. Prosecutors' offices are not supposed to be used to get people out of office.
But George Soros is a big funder of Alvin Bragg.
That's what I've been told.
George Soros is a big one. Yes. Alvin Bragg was on this show. I asked him, and he sidestepped the question.
Yeah, I know that's been reported. I mean, I'm just hesitating because I didn't look at the actual election filings. But yes, it is widely reported that George Soros is Rossana, you asked the best question in the beginning. When Bragg came in, he basically disbanded that unit to the point where the guy got so upset he went out and wrote a book because he thought that Bragg was just dodging it, and now they bring it back again. I don't know why. I'd like to think there's nothing nefarious going on, but
who knows? Arthur Aidala, how can people find you if they need your help?
I match my tie to your blouse.
I like that. We're going to go to the prom together, you and I.
Okay. Or we can go to Washington, D.C. and see the cherry blossoms.
How can people find you?
Just look up Arthur Aidala.
That's it?
A-I-D-A-L-A. You always pronounce it so perfectly.
I like the prom picture, the promposals, you know, the one in front, one in behind.
Well,
okay, we'll
Rosanna's too young for me to take to the prom. I'd get in trouble.
Arthur, I know you. Anyway, it's the Brooklyn Connection. Here we go.
There you go.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.